Welcome everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have Divine Masculine Twin Flame Reader in front of you. It's quite interesting today. It is February 10th, 2020. The 10 is all about destiny, a turn for the better, divine timing, that high vibration, and the day adds up to the 16, which is the Tower energy, so sudden changes, for good or for bad. Doesn't really matter. It's some kind of sudden change. Or something not so sudden that's finally happened, you know, after a long time. So what suddenly happened to you today with the turn for the better? And it can be, you know, with the Wheel of Fortune, it can go either way. It's not usually really bad for me, the Wheel of Fortune. Usually the Wheel of Fortune reverse for me indicates more of a slowdown of things, or a retrograde, or a backtracking of something, a downturn of something, perhaps, you know, but again, that's a slowdown. So anyway, those are the energies for today. The SIRIAN Starseed deck was cut and dealt at 10:35 through 37, which is the Wheel of Fortune again. The 35 is the Mary Magdalene energy of the Wounded Warrior, the 9 of Wands. And then I finished putting that out at 37, which is the King of Cups. And there was a little bit of nervousness coming up there. And again, I wrote that down again at 11:22. BS was coming up, so there's, you know, stupid stuff that you need to take care of today maybe coming up. The numbers 6 and 9 came up twice together, as well as 7, 8, 9 came up twice together, just in time. And also 7, 8, 9 references the 5D, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for the 3, 4, and 5D. Also, the number 2s were also popping out to show themselves. Okay, and the BS is definitely reflecting the Ace of Swords reversed, because the other 3 aces are all upright today. So, and 3 aces are in the main cards today. You have 3 aces, they're all upright in the main cards, the SIRIAN Starseed deck. Really powerful read today. The code line and the information, okay, it was done at 11:01 to 2, so that's Justice and the Magician and the High Priestess, the Masculine and the Feminine. The major arcana were Starseed, which is like the Fool, Reflection, which is the Hermit, and then Indigo, which is like the Magician. And after the read, Alchemy also came up, which is like the Temperance card. We have 3 swords, 2 pentacles, 1 cup, and 2 wands today. The 3 swords are referencing that nervousness I was picking up. So the masculine feeling very nervous, and it is Monday, so it's pretty normal for people to feel stressed out. And then we have court cards of the King of Swords and the Page of Wands. Before the read, the 9 of Pentacles also came up, which isn't a court card, but it's the Sovereign, so it often comes up as a person. And then the King of Wands also came up before the read. After the read, the Queen of Wands came up, and she was reversed today. The numbers in the code line were all about teaching and learning and financial discipline. We had triple 1s, which were the most significant, and triple 8s as well. We had double 7s. 7, 7 is the Sovereign again. And we also had the numbers 1, 3, 6, and 8 by themselves were significant. So the Magician, the Empress, the Lovers, and the Strength card, that can reference ego as well. 13 is the Death or Transition, Transformation card, endings. 36 again is endings, because that's the 10 of Wands, the weight of the world upon your shoulder. And 68, which is the Page of Pentacles. 18, the Moon. 17, the Star. 78, the 10 of Pentacles. 67, the Knight of Pentacles. And 89, which is a reflection of the human body temperature, being 98. Okay, so revolving around teaching and learning and financial discipline. The coding was referencing a show of power, and the southeast direction was coming up here, as well as a sigh, right? Like a show of power sometimes is a sigh, like, you know, either in a good way and a bad way. Also, the sea was coming up here, the ocean, and seeing things. Also, SI, like in Italian, yes, or in French, if. So, iffy things. And then Nisi was coming up. And that also means, from Merriam-Webster, in Latin it directly means unless, but taking effect of a specified time unless previously modified or avoided by a cause shown. So unless was coming up, and so that if was coming up too, that iffiness. So unless, so the show of power was coming up around the southeastern direction, a sigh, a yes, a possibly if, the seeing something, and also the mother, an earned income credit coming up for tax season. Sharing, teaching and learning, give and take, were big deal today, and taking the steps you need to take, cutting through the crap, the BS. Hieroglyphics were coming up as well, because that can be gibberish for some, right? And vowel sounds as well. And GI Jew came up yesterday, so that may be significant for some people. Yeah, the sharing, teaching and learning and sharing, being equal. Some of the masculines may have a hard time sharing. Maybe if they're a single child, they've always had things their way, or whatever their situation is, they don't want to share. Maybe people have screwed them over before, or had some kind of trauma in their life causing them not to want to share, right? To keep things close to their chest. And let's see. Yeah, and that, so it's really about that, you know, the equality of things. Balanced relationships, balanced money, teaching and learning, sharing, giving and receiving, and the show of power. And the show of power is coming up here kind of like a condition, right? So unless this or if that is a condition of love, right? So you do have boundaries though, right? You're not going to want to live with someone who likes to steal or destroy houses, right? So those are conditions. But the headlines that came up here were a lot of scientific stuff. So for you guys who are in scientific fields, some of this code stuff might come in for you guys specifically, because it may mean nothing to me. So microstructural design of hard facing, Ni-Cr-B-Si-C alloys was coming up. That was from Science Direct, and it was volume 61, issue 16. So there's the 16 and 61 reflecting each other. That was September 2013, and the pages again were 60, 61 through 70. Another header again was coming up with nickel, Ni in parentheses 2, Si in parentheses P2O7 and then 2, and that's researchgate.net, regarding small silicon clusters and talking about mathematical equations and stuff. And sin was coming up, or sine, right? But it comes up as the sin with the n equals 2 minus 7, which is minus 5. I was just getting minus 5 degrees, so I don't know if it's really cold somewhere, and that's like someone getting really cold or freezing, being cold to somebody else. 2 minus 7 being minus 5. Also 5 being that expansion energy, but in a negative way, sin. I was getting not absorbed, but adsorbed on graphite, 0001, and diamond, 100. Substrates are studied by density functional theory within, and it was ... but for our purposes it's about within. CRIO came up, -9074 National Instruments, which is a site, ni.com, and of course Ni being nickel. Ni/CeO2 based catalysts as oxygen vectors for the chemical ... but I wrote clinical by accident, so that may be a message for someone for clinical use as opposed to just a chemical experiment here from Science Direct. Also one of the authors there was Jesus, so that may be significant for someone. Jesus, Guillermo Caballero, and that was volume 212. Some of the other headers real quick at 1137, Justice and the King of Cups, simultaneous quantification of triter panola. I don't know if I can read my writing right, so I don't know if I'm saying it right. Or triter perioic acids by high ... something. It's NCBI .nlm.nih.gov regarding 8 BAs, i.e. BS-1 through BS-8, 5 milligrams total. Another header was nisi, the definition. Like I said already, that's Latin meaning unless. And then another header, nisi ni, no, on YouTube. That was from February 10th, 2016. So here we have the 16 again. Nickel came up from wikipedia.org, the atomic number, which is Z, and then 28, and the group number 10. 28's the twin flames, 10 the turn for the better and the high vibration, destiny, and divine timing. And then the last header I have here's Diebold Nixdorf. So Diebold Nixdorf.com was coming up. Okay, so unless the Mother, the Mary Magdalene energy, twin bridges I'm just getting right now, unless the twin bridges, and there are twin bridges I noticed too, not just the twin bridges, but there's another set of twin bridges in going from California to the wine country that I noticed at one point. So if anyone knows anything about those bridges, let me know because I'm kind of curious. But unless the twin bridges, or there's some kind of bridging between the mother, the spouse, the Mary Magdalene energy, or settling out, sharing, equal shares. So unless there's equal sharing and no gibberish or nonsense, right? No BS. They're in order to balance the teaching and learning and financial discipline here. So this is these are the conditions of the masculine coming up between some kind of settling out he's doing or coming together with another. His conditions. So nervousness was definitely coming up, and I'm still getting that nervous energy now. So let me do this. Okay, so getting into the read here, we start out with the King of Swords. The King of Swords is upright here in the underlying energy. Beneath that was the Nine of Pentacles reversed, which is like the sovereign, but not sovereign, reversed, dependent, you know, financial loss, all that kind of energy. Seven of Wands was upright, the King of Wands was reversed, and the Eight of Cups was upright, all beneath the underlying energy coming into this read. So the King of Swords, after being powerless to or financially drained, standing up for self, the King of Wands shaman reversed, walking away in a situation. The King of Swords walking away from a pitch, small talk, spreading the word, performing, dancing, an act, or juggling to stay afloat. All right, so there's something between this King of Wands reversed and the King of Swords upright, or that could be two sides of the masculine as well. They both seem to be walking away, though. It was kind of hard to distinguish which one was walking away, and that card came up twice, so could be both of them. So at 11:59, which is justice, and the Five of Swords, which is war, it's also the minute before the hour, right? The 11th hour. The lovers or twins, clearly stars, healers, and a dream come true, returning from the past to perform together, perhaps. Lovers or Gemini, no longer of two minds, healing or healed from a negative past, difficult kids, or a past juggling or returning to the site of a crime or misdemeanor. Trading in a sword for a pentacle to keep things going, walking away from patchwork or patching things up, fixing the symptoms and not the problem, the entry wound, or going on a walk or hike without Aquarius or Gemini, or kids can fend for themselves was coming up here, or put their money where their mouth is. A dependent, whether they're adult or child, causing a loss of money or power or independence as the divine masculine stands up to rise above drama. The King of Wands shaman reversed walks away from an immature conversation of Gemini or Aquarius. King of Swords, or the Page of Swords, emotionally detached without feelings, playing with others' innocent hearts here. Injustice of a message, news, or spreading the word, or a child's words referencing synchronicities, or the unknown. Nature, snakes and lizards and dragons perhaps, or Caesar's crown, or two full-time, or there are two people who are full-time are coming up as snakes here, and lizards and dragons. One is only 3/4 time, but you never know if they're going to show up. And then one is only 1/4 in, and no growth in that. Injustice, divorce, or Libra reversed, up to bat, but cat got your tongue, frozen by synchronicities, messages, news that confuses him, not knowing what to say, the Knight of Swords rushing in with the truth about divine lovers, and Gabriel mediating for God, God's winged messenger. So there's a really cool storyline that came in here, so stay tuned. But before I forget, I want to tell you, right before I started this video, I told you about the cat. I didn't know if a cat was getting killed or mating outside my house yesterday or the day before, whatever it was. But right before I started this video, the two cats were yelling at each other outside my back door, and I looked out to see them. It was really funny. It was definitely the masculine trying to intimidate the feminine, and she wasn't having it. It was really funny. Okay, so as the Knight of Swords is rushing in with truth about divine lovers, Gabriel is mediating for God, God's winged messenger, right? Because Gabriel's all about communication, God's messenger. So what God has brought together, let no man put asunder. My Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. As injustice is seen and heard throughout the land, through synchronicities and confusion, the winged messengers of emerald order decree, orchestrated by Gabriel on behalf of the man, Constantine. All right, so this is where they're referencing God, but then my father was coming in, making a funny with me. So he is definitely part of this message, okay? And also is interesting that in the movie Constantine, there's a very significant part with Gabriel there. So whatever comes up for you here is meant for you, all right? So the winged messengers of the Emerald Order decree are orchestrated by Gabriel on behalf of God or the man, and then Constantine was coming up because my dad was making a funny. He had a very dry sense of humor. The Master of Swords, Gemini, which my father was, has come to spread the word at 12:27, which is the Hangman and the Ace of Wands. In honoring of my father, the father of lymph angiography, at 12:28, which is the Hanging Man and the Two of Wands. It was really strange when my father came in here because he doesn't usually come into my reads. He has a couple times before, but not much. And when I felt the energy coming in, it always makes me tear up a little bit because it's my dad. So I'm like, is this for me or is this a message that's coming in for my viewers? And it was definitely for you guys, so just bear with me because it's about my dad, but he's bringing it in, not me. There was a message he wanted to spread about his life, and then there's some other parallels that come up in the read about other people as well. So in honoring of my father, the father of lymph angiography, who grew up in the war, a Jew without his biological father Aaron, and a brother with Down syndrome, his mother Esther, orphaned at age 10, raising her little brother, both working in sewing factories in Poland. She made it to France without selling her body or soul, and dressed models in Paris and became an artist. His biological father, a Russian Orthodox, unable to be with a Jew, left my grandmother, his mother, pregnant in Paris, where my grandfather married her. My father born June 3rd, 27. Aaron was an engineer that moved them to England in 1937 due to the war, in which he lost 6 sisters who refused his warning to leave Poland at the time. He was politically connected, helping Israel become a state, and moved to where I grew up, partly due to the Netanyahus there, who babysat for us when I was growing up. After a bomb shelled an abandoned apartment building they were living in England, my dad went on to college in England and medical school then in the U.S., becoming a U.S. citizen just in time to be shipped over to Korea during 50 to 53, the Korean War. He was there for 2 years. His parents had moved to New York prior to him at NYU, where he went to medical school. He married my mother in 1957. She had gone home after their first date and told her mother that he was the man she was going to marry. 7 years and 7 days apart, my parents, both Geminis, the twins, his soul number 42, hers number 24, the reflection of that. and 7 in the family because they had 5 kids. My brother was born in Jersey and then Memphis for his internship at the VA, where he had son number 2 and I were born, and my mom took research drugs that he had at the home while she was pregnant with child number 4, and husband never home. After shock therapy, to Philadelphia we go, the city of brotherly love, but sisters and Jews still had a long way to go. Internal medicine doc became radiologist at Einstein, one of the fathers of angiography, catheterizing a heart and placing PICC lines, inventing. Mr. Magoo off to University of Penn for the next chapter of his career, finding new ways of navigating the human body, and then finally the lymphatic system before he retired at age 78, and that was at 1250, the Hangman and the 10 of Cups. After he retired, had a stroke and a heart bypass, and was shocked several times. At 1252, 52 is the Queen of Swords, so of course breaking our hearts when he had to go through that stuff. Enjoying Bend, Oregon out west with my mom, and then hung out with my mother in the Alzheimer's facility until his death, suddenly getting into his wheelchair for breakfast at age 89. He passed away November 6, 2016. And there's that 16 again, and the 11 and the 6. So he's come from Mary with grace, says he. My mother's name was Mary Grace. It is Mary Grace, but coming from him. He's come from Mary with grace, Mary Grace. 1255 is the Hangman, and 55 is the Ace of Swords, the truth. He's come from Mary with grace to put the battle of the sexes to rest. Adam and Eve released from their contract and wake up now from a daze. The mountain was made of snow and ice, and thus as so it now melts. My daughter, the storyteller, and who also mounts horses, he was trying to be funny because I did gymnastics growing up, and he says she was quite good. He was complimenting me. But anyway, gets to bring down the white flag. So he's saying I, my daughter, the storyteller, gets to bring down the white flag as the stags and stallions, the horses are off. On your marks. As they dash, they are taken through the fields of pass, of cotton fields and poppy fields, and amber waves of grain, and the barren twin trees, naked to the wind and the cold that were left behind. The ones they never bothered to look at. They were always moving so fast, the field of view always a blur, never really focused, trying not to see. Afraid they may fall back to the other side of the tracks, so not wanting to associate with them. After all, like attracts like. And then there's a sequence of numbers on the cards in this pile of cards here, which I don't usually get, but sometimes I'm called to look at the numbers. And I did, and it was very interesting because the way they were positioned was the Roman numerals 6 and 4, above the 6 over the 4, and then the number 7, and then the 11, the XI, but the 7 was in regular numbers. And if you look at them, you realize that the V1 over the 1V is the Y in the road, and an arrow pointing downward, and the 7 with the X1, which is 11, and 711. So here I am with the Y in the road and the arrow shooting downward, right? Because if you stay at the Y in the road, you go south, and then the 711, but I had to cross out the 11 because the 1 and 1 cancel each other out. And then I was getting 007 because my dad was sending me that message because James Bond was one of his favorite movies. So 007. So it's really funny how they do this. But my dad always loved James Bond. Probably was the last movie I saw with him. My 42 dad, and 42 is the 2 of Cups, and that strong bond between us, because I worked with my dad for many, many years at University of Penn. That strong bond of the 2 of Cups with James Bond, my dad, 007. And then he was referencing my brother, who's also a Gemini like my mom and dad, who's also James and a Gemini. Recently moved to Washington, State of the Union address, then came up again. My father and brotherly love, both Geminis, the twins, with feisty women. The 10 of Pentacles reversed, no longer at Penn. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. In the aftermath of success, and the winter of your life. Don't let pride get in your way of showing others love. Jesus and Mary, too, got off the cross and enjoyed their life. The Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles with 2 gold coins. William's pen to write about it, how beautiful life without drama was, unless on the stage, of course. And each child displaying, at 117, the Magician and the Star, each child displaying their own gold coin, the Unity Consciousness, their crowning achievements, researching, discovering, and offering help and serving others. Jesus and Mary and Cass and Mary, it's my dad's nickname, Cass, offer you their props and gratitude. Mary's castles in the clouds, because she loved that song, My Castle in a Cloud, or Castle on a Cloud, I always forget which it is, from Les Mis. It was my mother's, one of her favorite songs. But Mary's castles in the clouds, and then shout, just a little bit louder, shout, right? Just a little bit softer was coming up right after that. Say that you love me, say that you need me, say that you want me. I want you to know. I want you to know right now, yeah, right? You better be good to me, baby, better than I've been to myself. And this is the Isley Brothers, shout, right? And if you ever leave me, I don't want nobody else. I want you to know. And by the way, this is from AZ Lyrics. They're one of my go-to lyrics plays because they're easier to get the lyrics than some of the others, but AZ Lyrics. And then after that was coming up, right? I want you to know. Let your balls hang low, let them wobble to and fro is coming up, so they're being funny. What's between us ain't no castle in the sky. It's right here, not in the 5D, but right here on the ground where you belong. Make the effort, and beneath that was release your X for the Divine Masculine. And then more numbers were coming up. 7XV2, which is the day I met my twin, 7-2. And beneath it, and then XV is 15, and it was 2015 when I met him. And then beneath that were the numbers 5 and 3, reflecting the Knight of Swords, the Messenger of Truth, but also 35, the Mary Magdalene, Wounded Warrior. And the missing number in between, right? What's the space between 3 and 5 is 4, which is actually the time of my appointment, the day that I met him. So again, 2 different clusters of cards where I was guided to look at the numbers and how perfectly they fit into the message here, okay? And I always remember the time because the first time I went, I was with my daughter, and she went first. So, I think. So anyway, dreams can come true. It can happen to you if you're young at heart. Synchronicities abound. Synchronicities abound of flights of fantasy, undoing rejection, or not taking no for an answer. The Capricorn reversed, or the devil, puts his manhood back on. The bodyguard, Houston calls home. Bobby, Billy, Jack, and Hot Toddy. Whiskey, honey, and lemon. Whiz Key, your honey, and Buttercup Yellow. Lemons, right? The lemon, lemons, and then I was getting Le Mon Day, so the Moan Day. Clear on dreams and synchronicities, showing your muscle, showing who's boss, showing butt cracks and boob cracks, and wisecracks about unmarked or undiscovered territory through big love at work. Not interested in being pissed on, can find another bush if that's your MO. Monday's child is fair of face, and not interested in being one notch above the hidden logs, or a convenience at work that you can get off on. Put it back in your pants, I'm not your whore. I am woman, hear me roar, because life has been a challenge, and this is at 151, the Magician and the King of Swords. I am woman, hear me roar, because life has been a challenge, and then love comes up major, right? So none of this really means anything because it's all just love. 151, Magician and the King of Swords. So I don't know who he's fighting with today, but he may be fighting with somebody. Number 6 is the Lovers of Love, and then speaking the love language with completion beneath, number 9. Sharing, teaching and learning, settling out, the devil's out of control, in need of detox, with the Knight of Wands on the move toward the King of Wands, he may be feeling it, but unaware that the devil's coming, professing with sweet ribbons in her hair, the Queen of Pentacles, studious peacock, or hazel eyes with yellow, displaying her gold and green coin she fought for and still does, with insecure manipulators around. It's all a game, right? So she's good at, the Queen of Pentacles here is upright in the underlying energy and is actually positive energy, but there's a lot of manipulative, fiery energy around her. So she's like being defensive to that fiery energy because she's worked hard for what she has. So again, it's like this Knight, and the Knight of Wands here is upright, and so is the King of Wands. But the Devil's reversed next to the Magician reversed, which is really super manipulative energy. That's really evil energy. So the Queen of Pentacles is the studious peacock, or hazel eyes with yellow, displaying her gold and green coin she fought for and still does, with these insecure manipulators around. It's all a game, right? So her being strong. While the butterflies cheer on the game, the good student was the one that got away. Watch out for Al Bundy looking to take a load off. The evil magician has his game face on. Capricorn reversed, Virgo reversed, Gemini reversed, and perhaps the Aries Fool, and the King of Wands and Knight of Wands upright, but can you discern who is actually for real? Because just because they're upright doesn't mean they're not the ones you shouldn't trust. Maybe the ones who are jerks or manipulators are at least showing who their true colors are. They're not trying to disguise anything. So watch out for the fire today, and that came up this morning too with the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Wands was reversed, and the Queen of Cups upright, and the same with the Knights. The Knight of Wands was reversed, and the Knight of Cups was upright. So watch out for fire today. They may be playing cards close to their chest. The Magician reversed and King of Swords versus the King of Wands upright or King of Wands reversed. So there may be two King of Wands here. One may be the Knight of Wands player who's upright, but he's the Knight of Wands, and then another King of Wands who's reversed because he's angry, but he's the king, he's the man of passion, and standing up for himself. The Magician reversed could be the King of Swords, Gemini, Emperor, with the Page of Pentacles, opportunity, invitation, child, or he could be an opportunist, or this is a student, or two students or children, or people at work acting like kids, or not getting along at work, people not doing their work, competing or flirting, and detox is needed, or somebody needs a cold shower. It's love. And this was coming up like the masculine can't get somebody off their mind. So the recent past here is the Ace of Pentacles, offer of money, big opportunity, or a new life, happy alone, getting their wish, the patient angel, and one step at a time. With those, or self, grieving the process at 222 of foolish player who lies or got played in a split, divide, or divide and conquer, the Fool reversed, the Knight of Wands reversed, and players, 7 of Pentacles reversed and 8 of Pentacles reversed, strategizing at work. Overdoing it, or split early, or took too long for lunch, lying, BS, or out drinking or hungover from the weekend and not doing their job. Perhaps they're young and immature, or cocky and arrogant, but there's no options here, unable to find peace with the big gold pentacle staring at him in the face at 225, which is the High Priestess and the Knight of Wands. At 226, the High Priestess and the Page of Wands, unable to contain self, no longer willing to put up with anyone's crap, with new life offer on the table, happy and patient, or patient that makes him happy, and sad at the same time. Perhaps lacking faith, falling short on energy and holding back desires in a split, and implementing a new plan at work. Sagittarius is upright here, but Aries is not. The foundation energy is the Three of Swords, separation, but no broken hearts really seen here. Overdoing it or not working, or Hierophant, Emperor, or taking advantage of their employees, or vice versa. An end of a family or emotional cycle, so that can be some sadness of the Three of Swords. But the main players are all upright. They're not really showing their sadness. But there's definitely an end of a family or emotional cycle, or they're just very happy that this is finally over. Or a very unhappy family and taming the beast, or the Leo and or ego. Or Taurus Aries is overworking or telling Leo it's not working. An employee not knowing how to tell their family they got sacked, which actually came up yesterday too. or Taurus and Aries and Leo ending a work family, or separation of church and state and ego, or rained on someone's parade, or marriage, Taurus, religion, or establishment ending a family, and the Emperor Aries is being strong, or carrying a Leo and their pet, stroking the beast, or the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles are competing for a new position at a big school or institution or at work. But Ivy League schools are definitely coming up here. The central energy here is the Ace of Flames, desires, new creativity that's coming out of heartbreak, okay? So this is the alchemization, changing nickel to gold, going from heartbreak into new creativity and passion, separation or a small surgery. Good news, success, a plan, leading the way to offer the gold coin, the unity consciousness, to complete the cycle and settle out perhaps, or a new life to the divine feminine in another world, sharing, teaching, and learning about the past. The challenge being the Six of Pentacles, the sharing part, coming clean about sneakiness, running away, and or guilt and shame. The Empress is reversed and the Queen of Swords is upright, and the masculine crawling back to the Empress reversed, and the Queen of Swords talking about the Empress reversed, offering love, friendship, or putting I'm sorry, this wasn't the part about crawling back, but here is the Empress was coming up reversed next to the Queen of Swords. And this is all about the masculine's issues with sharing. So it might be because of a mother, right? And a mother's guilt, right? All that kind of stuff. The sneakiness, the running away, guilt and shame, right? Because when you're afraid to get caught, it's because you were raised to feel guilty about things, right? That you're a bad boy. So crawling back, perhaps the Empress is reversed and the Queen of Swords is upright, crawling back to the Empress reversed, and the Queen of Swords talking about the Empress reversed, offering love or friendship, putting in an application for a job again in a competitive market that's satiated, or the Anion has too many suitors or too many applicants, or mother or spouse is reviewing all submissions. No longer going to feel guilty because mother says so, and this is at 250, which is the High Priestess and the 10 of Cups. Or mother demands care and he doesn't want to do it. Or shying away from all talk, no action, or those with ailing parents that would eventually cost him money. A challenge for the Divine Masculine to share his passions, ideas, and thoughts. And the King of Wands reversed is up before dawn, devising a plan, or deception, or to listen to Cancer, or caring for Cancer reversed, or mother reversed, or sister or nurse with her only, or her sister or nurse or with the mother only certain hours. Like, so then the masculine has to take care of her. There can be Taurus here too as well. So 2 out in the cold, exiled, injured, or illness, hospitals that don't cure you, or causing destitution, giving you a crutch and then making you old before your time. Synchronicities and heaven in their eyes, or confusing results, or worried about finding a spot on the x-ray, or more chemo and radiation. The 3 of Pentacles reversed and the Moon reversed with no definite answers or false hope at the hospital. The Chariot, an aggressive therapy or cancer exposure, too much radiation making them sick, or a bold move or travel to expose all, or to rest in a sunny place. With the Queen of Cups, Cancer and or Leo. This is the King of Wands reversed. It could be a Leo and or Cancer as well. The Queen of Wands reversed could be a Taurus, or Queen of Cups is upright here, and the Queen of Wands reversed, waiting for news from a first responder or defensive wounded warrior feeling guilt and shame despite having done all he could. But now it's time for the journey to the High Priestess, the secret, or their psychic abilities, whether others like it or not. Now is the Ace of Cups, the new love, the self-love, the spiritual love, a third party through work. The Queen of Cups and the Page of Cups and the King of Swords is a joy to behold. The Page of Swords child or message about a child, and they don't want to know what sex it is. Staying blinded, or a double-blind medical research study, or 3 musketeers have room for one more, D'Artagnan, unaware of the underhanded manipulations that have been going on there. Or a child got drugged or drunk at a party this weekend with the wrong crowd, and parents are being good about it, saying we've all been through it, we understand, or just they're happy that now the worst is over, now there's bliss because at least they're okay, or there's a going away party going on here. At 310, which is the Empress and the Wheel of Fortune, the games begin. Standing up for self to deception, self-advocating to protect self from deception, about a move, visit, or ending contracts or a marriage, and insisting that yourself or others read the fine print. The Magician and the Queen of Pentacles, or the Queen of Pentacles is manifesting a move or canceling a celebration or ending a marriage or a child's release, or unhappy about it, but anger takes away your fears. So there could be some frustration here. But again, I know this from having to perform in front of people. The one time I was really comfortable playing piano in front of people was the time I was really pissed at someone. It takes your fear away. So this may be someone who gets mad because it takes their fear away. The Magician and the Queen of Pentacles, moving, canceling a celebration, or ending a marriage, or a child's release, or they're frustrated, having temper tantrums, in a downturn or twist of fate as the Hermit misses their flame or wonders where it went. No date, no options, and released from prison or anxiety issues. The Queen of Cups upright and the Queen of Wands reversed, they're together here, confronting their fears, grieving lost desires and past flames, fears, and focusing on body parts, or worry their soulmate won't like your imperfections, or girls obsessed, stretching, working out, showing off their body parts in order to get a lover, or parents not letting kids out of the house in what they are wearing. The Queen of Swords may be grieving, or just she is the woman of grief, right? She's the Queen of Swords, confronts the Knight of Swords rushing in with information about the wounded warrior, unable to find peace, with soulmate, lovers, journey, with the High Priestess, secret or psychic abilities, or Viking priestess or princess, or someone who is released from prison. And that when I say prison, it can always reference a real prison or anxiety, fears, that kind of thing. So soon for the masculine is the Starseed reversed. After the big bomb dropped, because it is reversed, taking someone out. So a big bomb came in, taking someone out, apparently. A new passion with growth offered in exchange for a little bit of love. Partners fall on their face or from grace, exchanging services or falsifying documents, or laundering, putting in something dirty and then showing it as clean, or feeling above others, better than them, but just hiding the dirty laundry. Perhaps any of this underhandedness was being done out of the King of Pentacles view, who's upright here, or he didn't want to know or be part of it, but got sucked into it, and unbeknownst to him, saying his hands are clean, I've done nothing wrong. Perhaps confidential information in the wrong hands, or read by those who are not under legal contract, or in a bold move, the King of Pentacles walking away, or drove away, or Cancer third party exposes all, or makes him happy, or feel like a kid again at 332, which is the Empress and the Journeyman, the Six of Wands. The masculine sees himself as the Page of Wands reversed, taking the mask off, the Empress reversed and dependent, begging forgiveness, coming clean or getting clean, and promising to change. The Queen of Wands reversed here may be stressed out or suffering in silence, but she's the Queen of Wands reversed next to the Devil reversed, so there may be out of control addictions going on here, or worried she'll be committed or arrested. After the Empress reversed and Nine of Pentacles reversed, or financial drain or scam, the injustice of Capricorn reversed and Libra reversed versus Taurus reversed, who spent or stole his money or stuff, or parents who need full care and they're using up all his savings. The Divine Masculine could throw a fit, or frustration, or total loss of inspiration because they feel like they have no options and trapped. The Retreat comes up here now. It is safe to love for the masculine, and also heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly discuss your feelings with each other. Around the masculine, or how he is seen, is the Hermit with the light, carrying a load, working hard to stand up for self without judging or holding back an announcement, trying to keep things at bay without without actually trying to keep things at bay without actually having to do what he knows he has to do. So holding back an announcement, trying to keep things at bay without answering the wake-up call to action, right? Which they know they need to do, but they're trying to avoid it. So new love, self-love, spiritual love offered on the back of another, or Atlas comes up here. Mohammed couldn't get the mountain to come to him, so he conquered it. He mastered it. He climbed to the top to take the high ground, where he could look back at what he's accomplished. Atlas with the weight of the world, or sealed divine feminine, but Hercules comes to build two pillars or two supports and relieve him of his duties or contract, or a friend to take a load off. You've got a friend, that's coming up too. Clear blocks of indigo proposal that it's not real. So this is the master not believing that dreams can come true. Issues at work or a place of co-creation taking forever to become the King of Cups or unconditional love, that really super good man. The negative group, third party, and or kids exposing all, or just really high energy around him. Financial discipline and teaching and learning comes up, but even more so for the masculine today is surrender. The chariot, sweet chariot, coming in to carry me home. The decrescendo, the aftermath of the killing fields, which was Cambodia. The Civil War was the 70s, 70 to 75, and then afterwards, the reign of 75 to 79 was the killing fields. And then, in addition to that killing fields, when I went online just to confirm something, the killing fields were also labeled for a place along I-45 in Houston, outside of Houston. From April 17, 2019, there was an article about the killing fields there from 1984 to 91, and all the bones that they had found buried there along the highway I-45 corridor. And this was a renewal of information because now they were able to do DNA testing on some of the bones to actually identify the bodies, so they knew what families to tell, at least, who had been killed there. However, they don't have any evidence to prove anyone did these killings, and there are multiple people who are buried there or who were buried there over the years, but they've never found, they don't find the killers. And so there's no peace they can give to the families of this. So they did DNA testing April last year and ID'd Audrey Lee Cook, who was 30 years old and she was a mechanic, and Donna Pradome, and I'm probably not saying her last name right, but she was in her 30s as well. She was a mother of two. And then, like I said, they never found the killers. So it's someone who did lose someone there, I think, was the one who's committed their life to identifying them, to help or for searching for lost people, to help the families who never get closure about children they've lost. So at 3:59 is the Empress, and again, the 11th hour, the 59 is the minute before the hour. Many buried there over the years. Jealous rages was then coming up from the cards, and attacks, driving on open highways, or the Divine Masculine experiencing a murder in his life, maybe overprotective of his kids. Or the Eight of Swords reversed is a release from fear, anxiety, and or literal prison, letting go to repair, fix, and or mend, with the High Priestess with a secret or with their own psychic abilities, maybe doing police work to help find bodies. Soulmate released, and the Wounded Warrior on a journey to the High Priestess and or Viking Priestess or Princess, expressing a lot of feelings about being ignored or facing their fears, an exchange about grounding and integrating an offer of love, or just boredom and apathy, that love is just love. The Queen of Swords speaks to the Knight of Swords, Wounded Warrior stuck in their emotions and their thoughts without peace in their life, and the Knight of Cups offers love to hang out and see another perspective, while the Hermit sheds light on it. Or bodies found through their father's love, through a father's love, and wise intention. Learning to offer love before it's too late. And this is like one of the fathers coming back who dealt with this situation, saying, learn to offer love before it's too late. The Divine Feminine's heart in the E-Tower opening as they receive energy back and forth, desires expressed, and perhaps Reiki work as well. Alchemy of being patient and allowing nickel to turn to gold, and coal to turn to diamonds. And then the coal miner's daughter came up, Loretta Lynn. That was a movie from 1980 about Kentucky poverty. And then also pneumoconiosis came up. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but that's the coal miner's lung disease. And there's an organization, DCMWC. It's the Division of Coal Miners Workers' Compensation, where they actually do get compensated, them and their families, not only medical coverage, but compensation for their lung disease and their deaths for families. So then the Queen of Wands reversed comes up here as defensive or with bodyguard. So again, Houston comes up because Houston came up for Whitney Houston and Bobby, but then also Houston, the spaceship, or ground zero. I was just getting ground zero too. But Houston was coming up, so whatever that means to you guys. And then of course the city Houston, which came up about the bodies. So the Queen of Wands reversed defensive or with bodyguard, or a bodyguard of a tomb. Somebody might be guarding someone's tomb, unable to sleep and rising above, or waking up to come out and defending their position, or defensive ending. No one there to listen. So this is like the boy who cried wolf, right? They cried wolf so many times that this time when it really counts, because it is something real, because they're grieving something, there's no one there to listen. The King of Swords separation, heartbreak, surgery, with the Page of Wands reversed. The Hermit with an offer of a new life, new passion, and challenged by sharing, day-old bread perhaps, that's not fresh. The Indigo proposal of new love, an outpouring of love and release of prison, anxiety, and or fear to express feelings at the E-Tower, now open with patient angel, and could be a Queen of Wands reversed who is defensive at 419. So the masculine may be worried that the feminine could turn into what his karmics are like, or his past partners. At 419 is the Emperor and the Sun. And then there's that father and son energy revolving around jealous, rage, and anger here. So whether it's the father-son relationship between the masculine and his father, or it could be his child as well, or the jealous rage that came out of the feminines around him in his life, that wound is definitely coming up here. So a dependent standing up in the King of Wands reversed, walking away from the King of Swords. A new life or new offer, but can it be trusted, or are they just another manipulator? The Three of Swords, new passion, new love, and challenged by sharing, equality, and teaching and learning from each other. The Page of Wands reversed, frustrated, and lacking faith in a fresh start or in downloads. And the Hermit, reflection, and or Virgo is proposing to release from prison, anxiety, or just fears of any kind, or to release or the masculine to release a hostage of love with arrows of love at the E-Tower where Rapunzel lies and says, "Let your hair down, or do I have to come up there? There's no more drama queen." So that's the way the read ended. It was a lot. It's already 53:31. And that is that 53 again of the Knight of Swords, which can be the messenger of truth, the knight in shining armor. And then the space between is the 4, or the Emperor, which just came up at the end of this read. And the Emperor came up with the Sun. And the Sun is beautiful, right? Because it's a source of life. The space between. The 4, the stability, the structure. That stability, or something that is safe, a safe haven, isn't always exciting, but it's safe, right? It's responsible. So I'm going to give you a few oracle cards. Let's see what we have. All right, we'll start with the animal cards today. Take a deep breath, you guys. There's a big flame over there. Big flame, little flame. The cats were so funny outside my back door fighting. I wish I had a video of it to show you. I probably should have videoed them. That would have been a good one to post. But They're making my house a stomping ground. The cats have been like yelling for the past 3 days at my house. All right. So everybody watching, for the best and highest good of all those concerned, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Let's clear all negative energies across all dimensions of time, space, matter, and realities for the highest good of all those concerned, and fill that empty space with only beautiful divine love and diamond crystalline light. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so from the Animal Tarot, well, I just got kickback. So somebody might be dealing with kickbacks, and a bunch of cards just came out together, so I'm going to give them to you. The bottom of the deck is the World, which is 21, so there's completion again here. The Shetland Sheepdog, congratulations on successfully accomplishing what you set out to do. You've made it through the challenges and incorporated the lessons life offered you with grace and courage. So their grace is coming up again. Oh. I always wanted a collie. There was one, though, when I was little at my old house. I lived at one house till I was about 8. And there was a dog down the street that used to chase, it was a collie, but it was an aggressive collie that used to chase us home from school every day. But then there was Lassie, of course. So everybody always loved Lassie, so you always wanted one. All right, so these are the cards that there's kickback, came out of the deck. They really popped. They were kicked back, actually. The Lovers comes up here, which is number 6. The Flamingo, true and long-lasting love finds its way into your life. Follow your heart with caring actions and choices. All right, be at peace and don't fight. The two looking like eye to eye cracks me up. I just remember doing something like that with my dad. And there's that butterfly again, like bringing them together into the heart. And you notice they're making the shape of the 2 twos together to make the heart. And you notice their legs are 4 and 4 as well. So the 22 and the 44. And there's 2 S's as well. And 2s and 5s and block numbers are the same. All right, we have the King of Winter, intelligent, impartial, respected, and unemotional. The Humpback Whale. At this time, it's very important that you communicate clearly, be objective and unemotional, and act as professionally as possible. If you need advice, seek out the most experienced expert you can find. Okay, and so this may be someone that comes into your life because of this lover's relationship here. Okay, could be a father or someone of status because he's got a king, a crown there. We have the High Priestess number 2, which is the Owl. It is time to pause and reflect and not to take action. Trust in your spiritual gifts as nothing is hidden from your divine intuition. All right. And there's something in writing there. Somebody might have written something to you. And maybe a message is on its way. We have the butterfly and the crown. And then that's a shadowy moon. That may be more toward the new moon. Or it could be just in the early morning hours as well, right before the sun comes up. Oh, and look, there's the 2 pillars that story about Atlas and Hercules. Hercules creating 2 pillars in order to take the weight of the world off his shoulders for a while and give him a break. All right, so the owl and the butterfly. And this butterfly gets around, right? We have a butterfly with the 2 lovers. And then the whale is just with a school of fish. So that could be a teacher as well. He may be a wise spiritual teacher, okay, that comes in, who's very mature and unemotional or detached, right? And then we have the owl swimming over the water. And I was just getting the water, the Seine in France, where the other Statue of Liberty is. That's so weird. I was just getting that. The bridge that's right there. If you stand on the bridge, you can see the little Statue of Liberty, and it's right down there from there. I don't know what the name of that bridge is, but if anyone does, they can put it in the comments. But I was just getting that. And also the bridge. What's the beautiful bridge in Paris called that has the gold statues? They're beautiful. That's actually in my picture on my site on YouTube. That's coming up as well. So somebody might be going to Paris since the Seine is coming up. I was just getting Rome as well. And I was just getting scriptures. And what am I thinking of? Well, I guess it could be the Torah is coming up here, but scriptures, just old scriptures or things written on parchment paper, so it could be something romantic that's written, but all of those kind of energies are coming up here. And because of what's written here, the love stories written, there's a ripple effect going out to everyone, like Paris is known as that city of romance. Aww. And you notice how purple everything is. We have one blue, so one throat chakra, but mostly using your third eye, okay? We have the Emperor here, which is the deer mouse. Structure and organization are important right now. Don't be afraid to take on a leadership role, as you have much wisdom to offer. So don't be afraid. Okay. The Emperor and the High Priestess and the Lovers. And here's a third party, all right, to take care of things. Like why this is like words of wisdom, right? Wise words. This is really beautiful. And then we have the World at the bottom, right? Completion. Really nice. This one came out separate from that clump, the Three of Autumn. So somebody might be getting an award or first prize. Miniature poodle dog. Your most satisfying and profitable career comes from following your passions, listening to your heart, and doing what brings you joy. Your life purpose is best fulfilled by allowing your talents and true self to shine forth out into the world. Okay. So that applies to everyone, and that's green, so it's about following your heart, okay? All right, let's see here. This is Metatron's deck. All right, Metatron, what are your wise words of wisdom? What do you want us to know? Some closing words on this read, Metatron. All right, this is for Metatron. Oh, I just got a funny thing. I'll tell you in a second. Metatron. Oh, so a bunch just flipped out. There's two, and then one, and then another one. And then I'm going to show you the bottom of the deck first, and then I'll show you those cards. All right, so the bottom of the deck is Karma, Untying the Knots, 28, which is the Two of Wands, the Twin Flames. And this is like referencing the grid. All right, that's lighting it up. It's being lit up, okay? Karma, Untying the Knots. So the twins, of course, having a hand in that, but there's completion here of karma. The first two cards that came out together are Leadership, Answering the Call, number 8, which is Strength. And this is very much like in the SIRIAN Starseed deck, the 10 of Wands, which isn't an 8, it's a 10, but that's about coming out of the dark, dropping your burdens, right? The Atlas energy, the weight of the world upon your shoulders, and just following the light until you get to the sun, right? Until you get to the top of the mountain, I guess. Conquering fear, start today. 17 is the star. Be the star that you are. Don't be afraid of your own light. Okay, it's like going from here in the basement, right, and making your way to the top of the mountain and above, right, to the etheric realms. Conquering fear, stay connected to your higher self. And this is reminding me of the picture of Sandalphon, and actually I'm holding the harp as well. So I'm being guided to tell you, Sandalphon, to call on Sandalphon if you're having trouble conquering your fear. And then with leadership, just answering the call. And you notice he's got keys in his hands here. I never noticed that before. He's got 3 keys. 3 keys, and they're telling me there's 3 keys there, guys, but there's only 1 flame. And wings. Okay. So those are the first 2. Conquer your fear and leadership. Answer the call. Don't be afraid of being seen. Okay, and then we have action, movement needed. And this is about exercise to keep your body going, make you feel good. Take action, which is 9. Maybe take a jog. That's the Hermit. So get out of the house. Get some sunshine. And if you're lucky enough to be by the beach, go take a run on the beach. with the seagulls. There's 2 seagulls in the air in that card. And then the final card is green. This is all about the Emerald Order and the heart. Heart healing. 39 is the Knight of Cups, offering love and being love. Okay, so the Hermit's the wise one, the collective consciousness. And then we have the Knight of Cups, which is about humans being loved, being unconditionally loving, being open to compassion. Doesn't mean you have to be in love with everybody. It doesn't mean that you have to have everyone in your life. It means you're not going to let someone stop you from keeping your heart open and always being love, right? And of course, you have to have boundaries, but the boundary is a moat of emotional love. That is in order to keep your heart open and never close up again. Okay, so let's see here. This is the energy deck. Okay, let's see what the energy deck says for you. It's just 1550, which is the, well, actually 010550, and there's just 555. So obviously fives want to be seen. 0105, so the 5 of the Hierophant, the Magician, and the 50 is that 10 of Cups for emotional fulfillment. Commit to yourself and use your talents, your magician embodiment, in order to have your dreams come true and emotional fulfillment. All right. So from the energy deck, what is the message here? Take a deep breath, you guys. Ooh, that one just flipped out very gently, though. This one was much kinder, so I'll give you those in a second. I want to show you the bottom of the deck. Woman holding a coin. Okay, so that's 42, and 42 came up with my dad because that's his soul number. It's also the 2 of Cups, and this is about manifestation. That you use your love, what you love to do, in order to create your coin. By the way, there's rest and rejuvenation behind her. So after resting, then create. That's with the 2. There's 2 cups there. So there's co-creation there from within, right? So co-create with yourself and then co-create with your twin. So you're learning to keep the co-creation internal within a closed circuit. Very interesting. All right, so the 3 that popped out for you here is 29, the World, which is the 3 of Wands, being present and gratitude to the present moment. You see how he's being present to the moment and just seeing the glory of how beautiful it is. The World. This is so weird. I watched a movie recently where they lived in a house with a dock here. It's an older movie. Who was it with? Shoot. It was about a couple who lived on this dock, and you think they're this wonderful couple, but it ends up that the husband actually accidentally killed someone and threw them in the water here, or they drove their water into the lake. But it's reminding me of that. So there might have been some kind of unnatural death that occurred in the Divine Masculine's life, or the Divine Feminine as well, but they're wounds that all need to come up. And it's interesting, it's showing you the polarity of energies of seeing the world from outside of yourself. That's easier to see it from outside of yourself, looking in on the situation, than it is to actually experience it. But giving yourself a chance to look in on your specific situation, your wounds, in order to help bring them up and clear them from your world, okay? All right, so 30 is the 4 of Wands, the Garden and the Gate. And again, this is all about beauty. Look how beautiful and fresh and spring it is. And there's 2 butterflies in this one as well. This one. So going from the dark depths of that basement in the other card, right? Even though this is a perspective from outside our world, to the beautiful world that it is, now down on earth, back down to earth, at the gate. And then not being afraid to close yourself, to go out into the world, not keep yourself isolated. Don't be afraid to go outside your gates, or outside your front lawn, or keep your children back because you're afraid. Allow them to see the glory of the beauty of our world, the garden and the gate. And there's a bird feeder up here too. So it's saying too, that's so weird, because I was drawing on my Illustrator last night and I kept aligning sticks like that, right, to make them even, because if I was putting 2 lines together, that would be off. Very interesting. So allow things to be imperfect. It's okay. by staying in love in your heart and not being in fear, you create a natural buffer around you of love. It keeps your energy high, vibrational. Okay. The garden and the gate. And this is also, I'm getting the feminine waiting for the masculine at the 5D gate, waiting for him to cross the bridge. And she's like, I'm waiting. See, look at the little girl's face. I don't know how well you can see it, but. Okay, so that's really cute that just came up. And then we have community. So it's definitely about coming together with friends. Competition here. I'm getting the Dixie Chicks here, which I wouldn't even normally remember that, but Dixie Chicks came up. Right, I'm just getting Beyonce too, right? So, don't go chasing waterfalls. Okay, so that's coming up. Don't compete with each other's beauty, right? You each have beauty in your own right? You don't need to compete with each other. Don't be afraid to shine your light. You can't outshine someone else if they're open without fear to shining their own light, okay? So don't dampen your light either for somebody else. That doesn't teach them to shine their light. It's helping them stay in their weakness, right? I'm sorry, sometimes I can't find the words I'm looking for. I do have concussion issues, but yeah, it's really beautiful energy though. So don't be afraid in seeing your world from the outside, how intimidating it can seem. But from your own back door, like in The Wizard of Oz, it's really quite simple and beautiful. So don't be afraid to open your gates and let someone in, or go outside to explore your talents and share them with others. And there's the 2 pillars again. And this is about a friend helping out, right? You've got a friend to help support you when you're carrying the weight of the world upon your shoulders. So we have 29, 30, and 7, which is being present, it's union, and it's the Chariot coming in to carry you home. Okay, you got a friend. Really beautiful. All right, just a quick card from the Kipper deck, and then I'll let you go. Again, the Kipper deck. Take another deep breath. Okay, one last card, and this is Dad. Since you're nosing into my read today, is there a message you would like to give us? And Constantine, my dad. Is there a message, Dad? Aw. He's making me cry. He's saying that he was once like that too. And look where he got to. He wanted to be an example for you guys. I was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I'm see. And he wasn't someone who would say, I love you, so he's kind of coming back to make up for that, to say, don't wait till it's too late. When you can't, it's not even just about saying, but showing someone that you love them. And appreciating the time that you did get to spend with someone, since I had the honor of being able to work with my dad for many years. So I felt very honored by that. And there's my dad's message of concern. And that's 37 too. This is the King of Cups energy. Unconditional love, no matter what. Taking you no matter whether you're dirty or clean. Right? This always reminds me of Oliver. More porridge, please, sir. A message of concern is the angels, right? Calling all angels. I was just getting Charlie's Angels too. Right? Well, I was just getting a song too, but I lost it. When you're down and troubled and you need a helping hand. So that's coming up again, more of the song. And I have this song with James Taylor and Carly Simon. So the friendship thing's coming up here with that, okay? Because they sing that song together in the recording that I have. And then the main male, okay? So this is about saying, don't be afraid of receiving bad news, because look at what bad news did for him. This is my dad's message to you guys. And there's and it's making me cry again because he's still in here. Number 1 is the magician, but also he was very much about the 1 energy. His destiny number was a 1, and was it 1? No, his life lesson number was a number 1, and he was an inventor. So it's like, you know, follow your intuition, your connection to your talents, your higher self, and then play with what you love. You know, you don't always have to follow the rules. The people who are successful are rule breakers. They follow their instincts because they know it's the right thing to do. It's not about doing bad things, it's about doing the right thing. Okay? So we have the King of Cups, the angels, calling all angels. There's something else that wants to come through, but I'm not getting it. Calling all angels. It may be when the movie, when an angel gets their wings, the bell rings. And I'm just getting as the bell tolls as well. And now I'm getting the Hunchback of Notre Dame and Big Ben. And the Eiffel Tower. Something about Europe. My father was born in Paris, so he's reminding me to tell you that. He was born in Paris. Oh, and that you don't have, you know, look what he did. He traveled the world. He ended up living in a different country. The world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want. Right? He's been through hell and back. He grew up in the war. He had to go to Korea as soon as he became a U.S. citizen. And then look at all that negative energy, all that nickel. Look at all the gold it provided him in the end, okay? So that was the message. And and he's saying his lovely daughter. Aww. And then he's saying, and then me being imprisoned by what I went through, and also legal dealings, to not be afraid of the law. But I'm also seeing CM on the building here, which is the Christ and Mary Magdalene. It's also 100, you know, it's the numbers obviously, but oh, it's Constantine and Mary. That's my dad and my mom. Oh, that's so funny. And then again, Ben's coming up here again from Ben. The Two of Us Need Look No More from Michael Jackson. So Michael Jackson's coming up here as well. I'm getting, don't run from the law, face your fears, all right? You have nothing to fear but fear itself, and you guys all know who said that. All right, the bottom of the deck is the Child, okay? And this is coming from my dad. My dad, I'm going to show you now. My dad, there's 5 of us kids, but my dad always had a picture of me from Memphis on his bureau. And I took it out and I framed it finally when he left, when he moved out to Oregon. He actually gave me the picture. And that was this picture here. Okay. So that, from being that this draw was from my dad, it's because he was showing me the little girl picture and how much I was adored. The message from him coming in, and him saying, you stole my heart. And my home. He's being funny. Oh. Okay, guys. I think that's enough. I gotta show you the cards. Okay. The underlying energy being the Master of Orbs. The recent past is the Ace of Crystals. All right, so I told you there's 3 aces and they're all upright in the reed. So the Ace of Crystals in the recent past. The center was the Ace of Flames, and the crowning position, Ace of Cups. The candle was just making a weird noise. I'm like, what's leaking? The foundation here is the 3 of Orbs that was upright, and there's the other underlying energies there. Okay. The the other underlying energies there, and the crowning position, the Ace of Cups. The challenge is the Six of Crystals, or the Six of Pentacles, and here's the bridge over to the Starseed, which was reversed today. Someone might have tripped or may have had a false start. The masculine seeing himself as the Seeker of Flames, reversed, but remember has a mask on. So it could be taking the mask off, and then reflection is around the masculine. The Hermit's upright here. And the blocks he needs to clear has to do with the indigo. And I want you to see this indigo because this indigo has a proposal. Okay? And then we end up, look at the colors of the cards. There's the pink and the purple, so the third eye and compassion of the high heart. And then we end up with the Eight of Orbs or Swords, which is reversed. So it's the release of the prison. The Eight of Wands is above that, upright, expressing lots of energy, communications, arrows of love. And then there's the E-Tower above that, reversed, because it's about coming out of the E-Tower of isolation. And then the Alchemy card is above that, upright. And then we end up with the Queen of Wands reversed up there, and the Five of Swords with the Four of Swords reversed, okay? And then you see the love and completion of the blues and the purples, the throat chakra and the third eye. A little bit of talking, but more third eye and meditation kind of work, okay? Oh, it was just 2112. There's your completion, the end of karma, 12, 21, 12. So there's 21, 21. There's completion for you. Okay, you guys. Rise and be love. Bye.